Hello everyone, good morning. So, am I audible to you all? First of all, am I audible? Is the presentation clear? Both things, let's check. Yes? So, let me start. So, good morning. So, today we are going to see one of the most important concepts. And one more thing, this will always be remaining as one of the important question in the UPSC examination because it's always both controversial and always both constructive. Because in our country, India is not a normal federation. We are federation but with the unitary bias, there are so much things unique related to India. Fine. So in this topic, today we are going to see about what are the center-state relations. Today it's just the first part of the video. Today we'll be seeing the legislation-based relationship between the center and state. Very important because many question comes from this topic alone. Okay. So welcome to Let's Crack UPSC CSE English channel. So have a very good day and make use of this concept. Fine. So we'll go. So this we are going to do with India's largest learning platform, that is Unacademy. Because why this has become a largest learning platform is that we have so many options here. Like you have unlimited access. First of all, that's the thing. Generally, you go to a class, the class ends over there. But here you can watch your class again and again and experience the same thing. You can gain the knowledge in a different way from every class. Fine, so that is one thing unique about Unacademy. So you can download this app using Google Play and App Store. And then about me, so this is my Telegram channel, guys. You can use this Telegram channel to join my channel, and this is my link where you can, follow me in the Unacademy platform. So there you will be seeing what are all these special classes we have, everything. About me, I'm an engineer, and I have 4 years of teaching experience for civil services and TNPSC, and I have met more than 100 students, and I'm an anthropology faculty too. I have experience in NEET also. Fine. So what are the classes for you? So we have two classes in the YouTube. So one is polity in the morning and ethics in the afternoon. And special classes is like quick revision for prelims 2020. So Telegram channel, this is my Telegram channel link, unacademy underscore Suba Keerthana. You can just go and search it in the Telegram and you can join, or in the description, I have given you the link. Okay, so for the general studies, there is the Telegram channel where you can join there and make use of it. Next, you have the opportunity to interact with top 100 educators where we'll be covering the comprehensive syllabus for UPSC CSE examination. So this is the subscription details. You can go through the subscription details. So there are two options, iconic and plus. So in iconic, it's something unique because you have personal coach, personalized feedback, and daily mains answer writing session, which will help you boost your marks in a very enormous manner. Fine. The mains is what is going to decide are you inside the service or not. So in that situation, it's very important to have mains question answer session. Yes. So, and use my code. It can be iconic or it can be plus. I give you my code SUBA. You know my name. I am Suba Keerthana. So the first half of my name SUBA is the code. So if you use this code, you get a 10% of discount. Whatever is your subscription fee. Okay. So this is the special class. Today we have special class on science and technology questions. So we have been successfully doing, most important questions from each subject. Today we'll be going to science and technology. Today is the part one. Okay, science and technology is like it's a vast syllabus. So in that we'll be talking about part one today. We have 40 questions, top 40 questions from science and technology. The class is really good. You can interact with me. It's really easy, and where you can actually answer. It's a more interactive form. So we'll meet there. It's free, completely free. So we'll all meet there. Next, coming to the topic, center-state relationship. So why the center-state relationship is very important? Because India is a federation with unitary bias. We know that very well. Yeah, we have studied that in salient features. Everything is fine. But what will happen if center-state relation is not smooth? Or what will happen if there is any conflict in terms of center-state relationship? What will happen? I'll tell you. The problem in this is, if they are not smooth, if center and state relations are not smooth, the country will not be going in a development path. On the other side, it may be becoming self-destructive in nature. So in India, the states do not have much power compared to the parliament, I mean, compared to the center. So even though the states are not having that much power to the center, it doesn't mean states are completely under the control of center. So now today we'll be seeing, today and tomorrow, obviously we'll be seeing the distinction or different situations. Yes, of course, cooperative federalism. So cooperation, why cooperative federalism is, the cooperation is the major concept here, which is keeping our country in moving towards the development path. So we'll be seeing the topics where, how usually the center-state relationship works like. There are in certain cases where center dominates the state. There are certain cases where states have their autonomy. There are certain cases where center and state both have say in their way. But if there is any conflict, what will happen? These kind of questions are usually asked in UPSC examination, and we will also be getting ready for that particular types of questions. Fine. So this is how we are going to move into the session. First, the Constitution of India. See, we all know very well the Constitution of India is the lengthiest written constitution. The basic reason for the lengthiest written constitution is that they have mentioned about many provision. They have mentioned about many things related to the administration, also the political part, and also they have answered most of the questions that might arise in future. Fine? Yes. The Constitution of India, being federal in structure, divides all powers. See this? Legislative, executive, and financial. You can just see here. The center-state relation we'll be studying in these three. Legislative, administration, and finance. All the three have their own division between the center and state. So today we'll be seeing the legislative relations. Tomorrow we'll be seeing the administrative and financial relations. The most important topic, guys, this is, I'm telling you, you will get questions because every year there will be a current affair, or every year there is something which is related to center state relations. You will get questions definitely. So we'll go into the topic. So one thing before going to the next slide, you should all keep it in mind is, you can just look at here. You have legislative relations, you have administrative relations, you have financial relations. But did any one of you note down that there is no judicial relations? Why? Can anyone tell me why we don't have any division between the judicial relations? Because we have integrated and independent judiciary. Okay, which means that there is no division between center and states related to judiciary. Judiciary is completely out of the center state divisions. We have a single integrated judiciary. The high courts are there in the states. That doesn't mean they belong to the state government. They are just the subordinates to Supreme Court. They are not completely into the state government. Fine? Yes. So that is the important thing. So we have so many reasons for center states relation to come into examination, because recently the finance committee have also reduced the vertical division of the taxes. Okay, so from 42 to 41%. So all these things are very important. The basics are very important. Fine. Next, legislative relations. So which article is speaking about the legislative relations? Is that Article 245 to 255, Part 11 of the Constitution deals with the legislative relations between the center and state. Fine. So 245 to 255 in Part 11 of the Constitution deals with the legislative relations between the center and state. So the Constitution provides for this. What are all the places where the state will be taking the control over the state legislation. All these things we'll be seeing today. First of all, four aspects. So they are dividing the center state legislative relations into four aspects. First aspect, territorial extent of central and state. What is this? if center is creating some legislations, what is the territory of that legislation, or which are all the parts it is applicable to? State is creating legislations, which are all the part that particular legislation will apply to? That is the first topic, territorial extent of center and state legislations. Then distributive of legislative subject. We know very well we have three subjects and one residuary power: union list, state list, and concurrent list, and residuary power. We'll be seeing what will happen in these. When will this union list work? When will the state list work? All these things we'll be discussing. Fine. Okay. So next, parliamentary legislation in the state field and center's control over the state legislations. When can parliament create law in terms of state field or state? And then we'll be seeing when will center take over the control of the state. These are the things we'll be seeing. Fine. So if you ask me, is there any trick to remember constitution? I won't tell that there is some trick to remember a constitution. But proper understanding and proper generalization will do. Like in terms of parliament and state legislative assembly, know very well parliament is very much powerful than the state legislative assembly. Fine. These kind of generalization will help you to eliminate the answers. That is what we are doing. But I won't definitely tell you that we have a trick or something to remember the constitution as such. Okay, fine. We will have smart approach kind of classes, but there is no tricks as such to remember the constitution completely. Fine. Next. Territorial extent of central and state legislations. What is this territorial extent? If center is creating some law, if state is creating some law, the center's law where it will be applicable, state's law where it will be applicable on the basis of geographical location factor. That is what is the first thing called as territorial extent of center and state legislation. First of all, if parliament is making law, the whole or any part of the territory. What does territory means, guys? Keep it in mind. See, union territory. See, here we talk about territory, which means territory include India, that is the mainland India. In that we have states, UTs. This also includes future acquisitions. Do you get it? Territory is a broader term where states, union territories, and future acquisition also gets included. That is called as this territory. In that, if parliament is making any law, any part of the territory of India, it will be applicable to. Number one. Next, if state is making any law, in that particular state, wherever the part is, the state's law will be applicable to. Do you understand? First is if parliament is making law, the entire territory of our country will accept that or will follow that particular law. If state legislature is bringing some law, what will happen is that the territory of that particular state will be using that law or following that law. Third, what is this extraterritorial legislations? Sometimes if there is any people who are living beyond the territory of India, but they are Indian citizens, then their property in any part of the world will also come under the legislation of parliament. Keep it in mind, first and 2 points are very easy. Parliament, entire territory, state, territory of the state. But there are some provisions where parliament can make extraterritorial legislations. What is extraterritorial legislation? Means that there are Indian citizens who are living outside the territory of our nations. In certain situations, their property or some of their provisions also come under the purview of parliamentary law. Fine. So these three things you should understand. First, territory of India. Second, territory of state. This is beyond, that is extraterritorial legislations. But there are something where the parliamentary law will not be applicable to. So till now we saw which are the places the laws will be applicable to. But what are the situations where the parliamentary law will not be applicable to? Any idea? Can anybody tell me which are the places generally parliament law may not be applicable to? Okay, first and foremost thing is union territories. That too 5 union territories where there is no legislative assembly. Okay, we know very well Pondicherry and Delhi, New Delhi has their own legislative assembly. Now in the current scenario, Jammu and Kashmir is also having their own legislative assembly. I mean, Union Territories legislature. But apart from those, there are 5 union territories where the Andaman Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep, Dadra Nagar Haveli, Daman Diu. Now Dadra Nagar Haveli and Daman Diu are like linked. So Andaman Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep, Dadra Nagar Haveli and Daman Diu and Ladakh. So Ladakh is also not having, only Jammu is having this legislature. So these places, the president can only make regulations. The parliament cannot make any regulations. Okay. So you are asking me if parliament has the power to make extraterritorial legislations for enemy countries. See, the thing is here, it is not related to the country, it is related to the Indian citizens. Wherever the Indian citizens reside, if they have the citizenship of our country, they will come under the control of parliamentary law, irrespective of friendly aliens or enemy alien country, whichever country they reside to. Fine. Next, see this. The parliament can make regulations for the peace, progress, sorry, the president can make, see this, very important, parliament will not have power here. The president can make regulations for the peace, progress and good government of 5 union territory, the Andaman Nicobar Islands, Lakshadweep, Dadra Nagar Haveli, Daman Diu and Ladakh. So regulations so made has the same force. And also that law or that regulation made by the president is equal to the act of an parliament. It is such powerful like an act of the parliament, and it can take the place, like it can repeal or amend any act of the parliament in relations to these union territories alone. Obviously, parliament is sovereign, but president has more power in terms of these union territories. He can make regulations, he can repeal any regulations, or he can amend any parliamentary act within these union territories. Fine. Next. On the other side, the government is empowered to direct the parliament, direct that an act of parliament does not apply to scheduled areas. So first we saw about union territory, second is about scheduled areas in the state or apply with specified modification. So in terms of union territory, it is president. In terms of scheduled areas, it is governor. So in these two places, parliament do not have power. I mean, very less power at least. We cannot completely say parliament do not have power at all. We can say parliament has less power. Then governor of Assam, coming next. The governor of Assam may likewise direct that an act of parliament does not apply to tribal area, where we call it as autonomous district. You know, they have autonomous district council, tribal autonomous district council, where they have more power. Okay, and in the state or apply with specified modification and exception. Two things can happen. One is that the governor can declare that parliamentary act cannot be used here, or the governor can do some modification and use it in that particular autonomous district. The president enjoys the same. See, in Assam, it's only the governor, but in terms of autonomous districts in Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram, it is the president. Keep it in mind again, guys. In terms of Assam, it is governor. In terms of Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram, it is president. Both do the same thing. They either accept the parliamentary act, or they either reject the parliamentary act, or they can do some modification and use that parliamentary act to the particular states. Okay, especially not the entire state, but the tribal autonomous area, autonomous district areas, not the entire state of Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram, or entire state of Assam. In that particular autonomous districts are nothing but the tribal areas which are declared autonomous. Okay, so that doesn't come under the control of the state government. It is completely autonomous, and governor has power in terms of Assam, and president takes the control in terms of other states like Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Fine. Now do you understand the territory? How does the territory of state and central legislation works? I'm repeating this concept, very important. Parliament makes laws for entire territory of India. State makes laws for the entire territory of that particular state. Parliament has power to make law for the Indian citizens who are living out of territory of India. Finally, there are certain places where parliament or state legislature do not come into play. In those places, the president and governor are playing the major role. First of all, in terms of the 5 union territories like Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep, Dadra Nagar Haveli, Daman Diu and Ladakh, the president who has the more power than the parliament. He can repeal, he can amend any parliamentary act in that particular place. Next, coming to the scheduled areas, the governor has the power to direct the parliament that this law does not apply, or he can make specific modification and exception, and he can use in that particular scheduled areas. Coming to the 4 states, like especially this Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram, nothing but the states mentioned in the 6th schedule. In these states, only in Assam, governor has more power. But in terms of the other 3 states, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram, it is the president who has more power. That's all. Fine. So this is the territory based relationship between the center and state. Next, coming to the distribution of legislative subjects. See, guys, keep it in mind. Very important concept. You can ask me, ma'am, how can you remember all these lists? First of all, don't try to memorize all the list. But if there is something in current affairs, you should definitely know. Now there is a recommendation about health, to be shifted into this concurrent list. These kind of, recent amendments can be asked. Recent topics can be asked in the current affairs. So see those kind of lists and see those subjects and study. Fine. Okay. See, in tribal autonomous region, why is it given more power is that in tribal places, tribe tribes are different from the non-tribal people. Okay, obviously we know that they have a cultural difference. They have much difference. Some tribal areas are geographically isolated, also culturally isolated from the non-tribal people. Okay. So what happens is that the Parliamentary Act, when it is made to apply on the tribal areas, it is actually not that we do something good to the tribal areas. Sometimes that might, remain destructive to those particular tribal areas. So what happens is that there is a person called as governor or the president. What they will do is they will look at the parliamentary laws. If they feel that okay, this will be doing good to the tribal autonomous region, they will just apply it. Otherwise, they do modification or they do some changes or exceptions to that particular tribal people, and it is the Parliament Act is applied. Okay, the reason they are not powerful, they are not given more powerful, they are given some adjustment or changes which will adapt according to their differences. Okay, we know very well India is very well known for unity in diversity. We are very much concerned about taking care of the majority as well as protecting the rights of minorities. In that situation, in many places the tribal people are minority in terms of culture or in terms of anything. In that situation, it is our duty to protect their nature of culture or nature of their lifestyle. So in that situation, while we are applying the parliamentary law, obviously it won't be comfortable to them, or it might result in destructive effects. So that is why they are given exceptions or some allowances, but they are not given more powers. Okay, they are within the territory of India, they are within the control of the Indian governmental representatives like governor and president. The thing is, Parliament Act is not applied because the Parliament makes for, so for them this special provision is a must. Fine. Next, coming to this list one, see, keep one thing in mind in terms of Indian Constitution or in terms of India. We don't give power to minority, but we protect minority. Okay, we ensure that the majority do not take over the minority, or the majority do not dominate the minority. So in those situations, it is very important, or it is necessary to give autonomous to certain minorities so that they have a proper representation in the governance of this country. Fine. Okay. Okay. See, the thing is, why president and governor can take authority is that president has some powers. Okay, when you are studying about president have some legislative powers and administrative powers. So in that, it is according to the constitution. It is mentioned in the constitution. It is not by convention. It is mentioned in the constitution that president has the power, both the legislative and administrative powers for certain union territories, for certain scheduled areas. It is there mentioned in the constitution. For the majority, the parliament is doing, because the parliament has the representative of those people. For example, we have many states in the south: Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, all these things. From those people, there are government representative, but there are certain scheduled areas or tribal areas where there is no representation from their particular community or particular people. On the other hand, some people don't, some tribal people are not even aware of the political organization of our country. They have a different kind of political organization. So when they have a complete different kind of political organization, we cannot push our organization or we cannot push our culture on them, which is not fair. So what it is done is, this has been given to the president. So the complete country is under parliament, but only the union territories and the scheduled areas or these autonomous tribal areas are under the control of president. Okay, yes. Next, it is, yeah, it is under the constitution. No, nothing, nothing by the convention. It is not the president has taken or the parliament has. This has been in the constitution by itself. Fine. Next, distributive legislations. We have three subjects: union list, state list, and concurrent list. So how this we'll be discussing is that we'll see what is union list, we'll see what is state list, we'll see what is concurrent list, and then we'll be discussing on the situations where union list is powerful. And then in terms of union list, is parliament or state who's having more power, or in terms of state list, we'll be seeing who's having more power, is it parliament or the state. And then next is in list 3, concurrent list, we'll be seeing what are the powers of parliament or the state. Fine, yes. Next, the parliament has exclusive powers to make laws with respect to any of matters enumerated in the union list. So you can just see here, I'll just give you a short introduction and go into this. In terms of union list, who's powerful? Parliament. In state of state list, who's more powerful? State. In terms of concurrent list, who's more powerful? Both parliament and state. But if there is any conflict between these two, parliament prevails. But if state has got assent from president, then state prevails. This is the small introduction. We are going to see in deep. Fine. This is just a small introduction. We will be seeing in deep. The parliament has exclusive power to make law within the respect to any of the matters enumerated in the union list. Okay. So someone have asked me, does judicial review apply to the regulations made by the president and governor? Yes. Judicial review is applicable to any administration, any administrative regulations, or any legislative acts, everything. Yes. Okay. The parliament has exclusive powers to make law with respect to any matters enumerated in the union list. So as I told you, in terms of union list, parliament is powerful. Originally there were 97 subjects. I mean, when the constitution was made, 97 subjects. Then later some changes were made. Now we have 98 subjects. Now majorly like defense, banking, foreign affairs, currency, atomic energy, insurance, communication, interstate trade, commerce, census, audit, and so on. So generally, the provisions or the subjects which needs uniformity throughout the nation will come under the concept of union list. Okay, so in that you can see difference. Obviously, we can give difference to state. If every state have their own defense, what will happen? It will result in the problem among the states, not the protection of the country. So that is why defense, banking, all these things are in the union list. Here, parliament has the exclusive power to make law. Exclusive power means only Parliament can make law in terms of this union list. Next, coming to the state legislature in normal circumstances. See this, very important. See here, you don't have anything like normal circumstances, abnormal or something like that. But in terms of state list, in normal circumstances, that means, there is no emergency provision, there is no any other reason. In that situation, state can actually make law in terms of state list. Okay. So here you have, 59 subjects. Originally, when constitution was made, 66 subjects were there. In this, you have public order, police. One important clue I will give you. For police, obviously we know that every state is having state police. Okay, Tamil Nadu police, Delhi police, Andhra Pradesh police, Maharashtra police. So every state have their own police. What does that mean? Police is in the state list. But is army like that? Is defense like that? Do we have navy for one state, navy for other state? No. So navy comes under one Indian Navy, and that we have different stations. There are different personnels working. But for police, it is not that case. Police, every state have their own police force because public order and police is coming under the state list. Once these kind of questions are also asked, if there is any questions related to this is, which of the following is in state list or kind of thing, think these kind of methods. Police have different uniforms, from it varies from different states, and then police has this what to say, police have different state governments, under different state governments police work. So these kind of things are important. And then public health and sanitation. See, health and sanitation is in state list, but now there are experts who are advising to convert public health and sanitation into concurrent list. Okay, there is a debate going on, and that too in this situation, the COVID-19 has taught us certain rules and certain has made us understand certain things. So there is this recommendations going on to convert health and sanitation into concurrent list. Next is agriculture. See, very important. Agriculture is in state list. Presents, local government is also in state list. Fisheries, markets, theatres, gambling, etc. are in the state list. And you have parliament and state legislature. Both of them can make law in concurrent list. Concurrent list has 52 subjects. Originally, it was having 47 subjects only. Now, what are those? Criminal law and procedure, civil procedure, marriage and divorce, population control, family planning, and then electricity is in the concurrent list. Important, electricity is in concurrent list. Labor welfare is in concurrent list. Economic and social planning, drugs. Drugs here means the pharmaceuticals. Newspapers, books, printing press, etc. So here what are the important things you have to know is criminal law and civil procedure, marriage and divorce, and then electricity, because electricity we might think it comes under state, because every state have their own electricity board, but actually electricity is in the concurrent list. Parliament also can make law, state also can make law. Okay, so this is what is about concurrent list. So these are the 5 subjects which has been transferred from the state list to concurrent list under the 42nd Amendment Act. What are those? We'll be seeing. Education, forest, weights and measures. See, education, forest are all in the concurrent list. Keep that in mind. Education, forest, weights and measures, protection of wild animals and birds, administration of justice, constitution and organization of all courts except the Supreme Court and High Court. Okay, so Supreme Court and High Court are in union list, but other courts are coming under the concurrent list. See this, coming to the forest, we know very well we have Indian Forest Service. We also have state forest services. So it's in the concurrent list. Fine, very important. Next, Parliament has power to make law with respect to any of the matter. This is, many of the matter or territory included in the state, even though the matter is one which is enumerated in the state list. What is that? This provision has reference to union territory or acquired territories, if any. So, Parliament makes law for entire territory, but in terms of state list, the state can make law only for their particular state, but for union territories and other places, Parliament makes law. That law is also then decided by the president or governor, which is applicable or not. Okay, so weights and measure means nothing. Weights and measures mean what is the quantifiable measures. For example, 1 kg, 500 kg. What do you call it as 1 kg? What do you call it as 500 grams? These are all decided by the government. Okay. So weights and measures. You are going to measure in terms of meter. What is the standard measurement range? Are we measuring in terms of meter? Are we measuring in terms of feet? All these things are decided by the government. Okay. Fine. Next. In terms of residuary subject, what is residuary subject is, there are certain subjects which have been mentioned in union list or state list or concurrent list. There are certain provisions which have not been mentioned in all these three, that comes to the concept of residuary. What is residuary means? The leftover is called as residuary. So whatever is here or in that particular provision, whatever is left over comes under the concept of residuary power. Under that residuary power, who has the power is Parliament. The residuary power of the Parliament is residuary power of all the subjects are rested in the Parliament. Okay, so this includes levying residuary taxes, etc. Okay, yes. Next. See, 101st Amendment Act. What is this 101st Amendment Act? Goods and Services Tax. So this Goods and Services Tax, what is this? This 101st Amendment Act has made a special provision in terms of GST. What is that? See, the Parliament and the state have power to make law with respect to goods and services imposed by, see, central GST, Parliament will have power. State GST, state will have power. Then Parliament has exclusive power to make law with respect to GST, that is based on interstate. So we have three kinds of GST. First is CGST, central GST, SGST, state GST, and we have IGST, interstate GST. So CGST, Parliament, SCGST, SGST we have state, IGST it is Parliament. Okay, keep this in mind. Okay, in terms of central GST, Parliament has power. In terms of state GST, state creates. And then in terms of IGST, that is interstate trade or commerce, the GST in terms of interstate trade of commerce, Parliament comes into play. Fine. Next. The matters of, see, from this what we are understanding, that is what we are discussing now. See, in terms of union list, in terms of state list, in terms of concurrent list, there are certain subjects which are very important for national integrity, national security, and there are certain cases where it has to be uniform throughout the nation. If uniformity is not there, what will happen is it might result in some confusions, it might result in some inequality. So what happened? The subjects which are requiring national importance are coming under the concept of union list. You can be questioned based on this also. Which of the following is correct in terms of union list? So they'll be giving union list. They have these many subjects, 98 subjects, and then they'll be showing that in union list only Parliament can make power. Third one, the matter of national importance and the matter which required uniformity of legislation are included in union list. Which of the following statements are right? These kind of question also can come. So what we understand from union list is why Parliament has been given more power in those subjects alone, because that needs national uniformity, and that is very important for national integrity, security, sovereignty, all these concepts. So they come under union list and state is not given any power in that. Next, coming to the regional and local importance. In certain cases, Parliament cannot make a uniform law. We know very well every state have their own differences. For example, Assam is in the northeast. Okay, Assam is in the northeast where it's a Himalayan state. Eastern Himalayas are there. They have evergreen forest, culture, tribal people are there. So for them, the local needs are different. But you take some other state. Let's take Maharashtra. Maharashtra is a coastal state, where Assam is a mountainous state. So Maharashtra's legislations and Assam legislations cannot be same in particular relations. So what they are doing is, there are certain subjects where they are giving permission or where they are giving power to the state, so they can create law according to their own need. Okay, if even the parliament is making uniform law, that will create some kind of inconvenience, or that will create some kind of complexity in the governance of that particular state. So the matters of regional importance and local importance, and the matters which permit diversity of interest, are specified in the state list. Because you just take police. So the police in one state one, state two will be different. They have different rules and regulations, because the place they are residing in, the culture they belong to, everything keeps changing from state to state. That is why there are certain lists in union, certain subjects in union list, certain subject in the state list. But there are certain places where uniformity is also needed, diversity is also needed. Do you understand? There are certain places where uniformity, for example, take forest. Forest is needed on the country as whole also. Community conservation is also needed. So what they did, they have shifted forest to concurrent list, where the parliament also can make law, where the state also can make law. But in certain situation, we know very well, when there is a conflict or overlapping between the parliament and state law, what will happen? Parliament prevails. Okay, so parliament and state, taking that the constitution is giving a loose rope, it's not very tight control over center and state, it is giving a loose rope, or it is giving equal space to parliament and state in terms of certain lists, that is in the concurrent list. But if there is any need that there should be a uniformity, then parliament dominates the state and creates the list. So this is how the three lists are designed: this union list, the state list, and the concurrent list. Now do you understand why we are having three lists? Why it is not completely under the parliament, why it is not completely under the state, or why it is not completely under concurrent list? They have divided these three based on some particular reason. Next, we'll see who are having more power. See, the constitution expressly secures. So when you are talking about all these things, in terms of union list, in union list over the state list, concurrent list of the concurrent list, and the concurrent list over the state list. See this. When you are comparing the power between the union and state list and concurrent list, who is more powerful? Union list is more powerful. So among state, concurrent, and union, union is powerful. If you ask state and concurrent who is powerful, concurrent is powerful. Keep this in mind, guys. In terms of union list, state list, and concurrent list, union list is more powerful. The predominance, it dominates. Okay. In terms of state and concurrent list, if you ask concurrent list. So if you order it, first union list is powerful, then concurrent list is powerful, and then comes the state list. Okay. So what happens in case of overlapping between the union list and state list? The union list prevails. So if there is any conflict between the law created under union list and a law created under state list, which will prevail is the law created under the union list will prevail. Next, if there is any overlapping between the union list and concurrent list, again the parliamentary law under union list, or parliamentary law under concurrent list, or state law under concurrent list, union law only will prevail. Union list is more powerful compared to the other two. In terms of concurrent list and state list, concurrent list will prevail. Fine. So this is what is the most important thing. So whenever there is a problem between central law and state law, now we have seen about parliament is so powerful compared to all the three, that's fine. But in terms of concurrent list, if there is any conflict within the concurrent list, if there is any conflict, for example, you take forest as example. So in terms of forest, parliament has created a law, state has created a law. Both are under concurrent list only. Parliament has created a law, state has created a law. But these two are coming in conflict with each other. Obviously, parliamentary law will prevail. Fine. Okay. So the central law prevails over the state law, but there is an exception. What is that exception? If the state law has been reserved for the consideration of president. So the state is creating a law under concurrent list, and the state law, that law is preserved or reserved for the consideration of president and has received his assent also. President have given his assent also. Then state law is powerful. So I'm repeating again. If there is any conflict between parliamentary law of concurrent list and state law of concurrent list, parliamentary law is greater than state law. But in case of parliamentary law under concurrent list, state law under concurrent list, by given assent by president, then state law is bigger than or state law prevails. This is an exception. Important question. These kind of questions will definitely come. Which of the following is the correct statement related to concurrent list? Parliament law, in terms overlapping between parliamentary law and state law, the parliamentary law only will prevail in all circumstances. Wrong. Parliamentary law will prevail over the state law if president have not given assent to the state law. So the governor is reserving it for the president. President has given assent. Now there is a conflict between parliamentary law and state law. Obviously the state law will prevail. Okay, it would be still competent for the parliament to override such a law, so by making another new law. Okay, so that is not the given thing. Next, parliamentary legislation in state field. In which of the following conditions parliament can make law in terms of state list? We told you parliament, union list, state list, concurrent, parliament and union. But there are certain cases where parliament can actually create legislation in the state list. What are the situation? We'll see. When I was discussing about the state list, you can see that I have underlined something. See, under normal circumstances, that means only during normal circumstances state can make law in state list. But under abnormal circumstances, okay, so under abnormal circumstances, what will happen is that the parliament will make law in terms of state also. In abnormal time, the parliament only will make law under the state list. So we'll see what are those extraordinary places. When Rajya Sabha passes a resolution. So in terms of state list, we will be comparing. We have a class on Lok Sabha versus Rajya Sabha. In that, we'll be seeing in certain places where Rajya Sabha has more power compared to the Lok Sabha. One such power is this. If Rajya Sabha declares that it is necessary in the national interest that Parliament should make a law in terms of state list, Parliament has the power. Okay, do you understand this? So, I'm repeating. There is a state list, there is a provision under state list. Let's take public health. So, public health, we know very well it is under the state list. So, in this situation, in this corona situation, what Rajya Sabha is doing? Rajya Sabha is declaring that this public health, even though it is in the state list, under this current situation, it is very important for the national interest that the parliament should make law under public health. In that situation, if they are supported by 2/3 of the members present and voting, parliament can make law under state list. If there is any statement in the UPSC saying that only state can create law under state list, it is wrong. Parliament also can create law under state list, but not in all circumstances. Under abnormal circumstances, one such circumstances is Rajya Sabha. So what will happen if Rajya Sabha declares so? In that case, if Parliament is passing a law, that will be valid only for 1 year and it can be renewed under any number of times but not exceeding 1 year at a time. For example, in 2020, Parliament is making law under public health. So it will not be permanent. Till 2021, this will be applicable. Again in 2021, Parliament should renew it, like how we are renewing our membership. So we saw this in Unacademy. If you are subscribing for 1 year, every year you are going to renew it. 2 years, every 2 years. Same way, the Parliament should renew it every 1 year. So if they are not renewing it, it will be applicable only for 1 year. Only if they are renewing it, it will come for the upcoming years. The law ceased to have effect on expiration of 6 months. So 2021, 2020 January they are passing a law. 2021 January they should renew it. If they are not renewing it, January, February, March, April, May, June. Till June 2021 only it will be applicable. From July it won't have power. Very important. No, this will be similar like emergency. We'll be seeing emergency. That also you have this 1 year, 6 months renewal concept. The provision does not restrict the power of the state legislature to make the law on same matter, but in case of inconsistency between the state and parliamentary law, the later parliamentary law will provide. What is this? The parliament has created a law in public health. Fine. Next. The state is also creating a law in the public health. So there is no provision saying that if parliament is making a law, state cannot make law. They can make law. If there is any conflict between the parliamentary law under the state list and state law under the state list, where declared by the Rajya Sabha, the parliamentary law is powerful. Okay, fine. So this is what is very important. Next, during a national emergency, the parliament. So first we saw Rajya Sabha, when Rajya Sabha is passing a resolution. Next, during a national emergency, what happened? See, when we were seeing about India as a federation with unitary bias, we saw one thing, that during emergency provision, the country will become a union. It won't be a federation. Okay, all the states will lose their power and they will come under one control, that is parliament's control. So during the national emergency, the parliament acquires the power to legislate with respect to goods and services. So in terms of GST, we saw that in terms of CGST, parliament will make law. In terms of SCGST, state will make law. But during national emergency, in terms of SGST also, only parliament will make law. So the law will become inoperative on expiration of 6 months after the emergency ceased to operate. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So the power of the state legislature to make law on the same matter is not restricted again. But if there is any problem between parliamentary law and state law during emergency, parliament law will be powerful. Okay, I did not understand. Someone has asked me some doubt. I did not understand. Can you try to rephrase it using some other words so that I can better understand what doubt you're asking? Thank you. Next. So next, when state is making a request, we saw first Rajya Sabha is creating a resolution. Next, in terms of emergency, now state is making a request, or state is asking parliament to create some law. So what happens? When legislatures of two or more states pass a resolution requesting parliament to enact law on a matters in state list, parliament has power. In that case, the law apply only to those states. Some states will come and request. For example, 3 states are requesting parliament. The parliament will create a law, and that law will be applicable only to these 3 states. Later, if some state is finding it comfortable, they can take it. Okay, so even in Ayushman Bharat scheme, it is a public health. So what happened? Ayushman Bharat scheme is a public health, and parliament has created the law. But every state did not accept initially, then later they started accepting it. Okay, so that is how it works. So when states, two or more states, not less than two, two or more states should request parliament to create any law under state list. And when parliament is creating a law, what happens? It will be applicable to only the states which have requested the parliament. But later, if some other states find it comfortable, some other states find it feasible, they can take it for their state also. That law can be amended or repealed by parliament and not by the state legislatures. For example, let's take 3 states, state 1, state 2 and state 3. So these 3 are requesting parliament. So parliament is creating a parliamentary law. So for these 3 states, that law is applicable. Fine. Now the state 1 is thinking that I should try to amend this law. This provision is not good for me. Actually, the state will not have power to amend that law, even though it is under the state list. Since it's a parliamentary law, only parliament can repeal it or amend it. Okay. Reservations 2020 to be end in the year 2020. Then renewable is in whose hand? No, government, parliament only should renew it. Okay, fine. Next. So this is what are the important concepts. Today we have discussed related to the territory, three list, and which are the places where parliament will make law. We have few more concepts related to legislations. So what we'll be doing is tomorrow we will be discussing more on center-state relations. More important concept, guys. Most of the questions you will get from center-state relations, especially related to finance. This year I am expecting more questions from finance relations. Tomorrow in our class, exactly at same time, 10 o'clock in the morning, we'll be meeting and we'll be discussing all these administrative and financial relationships also. Fine. So very important concept, the interstate relation. Many are ignoring this concept. They are studying till fundamental duties, and then they are just ignoring all these concepts. They are all very important. Fine. So thank you so much. Today we do have ethics class. We have question answer discussion in the special class also. I'll be meeting you on all these classes. Fine. Thank you so much. Have a nice day, and use my code SUBA Suba to get the 10% of discount. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share this video to people so you will get or you will make use of this while you discuss with your friends also. I always tell you, sharing will develop your knowledge, it will never reduce your knowledge. So keep sharing. So keep sharing information, gain more information. Fine. Thank you so much. So happy meeting you all. Have a nice day. We'll see you in upcoming classes. Fine. Thank you.